About 3.5 years ago, many of you may remember that we started on the Tampa Bay Next program, which came out of the TBX or Tampa Bay Express project. And part of that was to engage with the public, to engage with our partners, to find out what should we be doing more than just looking at our interstate system, but looking at mobility in our region. And we heard a lot of things, including safety, looking at our neighborhoods, but one of the common themes we heard was we needed to improve our transit system. And so we worked with our partners through the region to look for projects, and to look for projects that could enter the federal process and be successful to get federal funding, which is really where we get the best opportunity to leverage the local monies that we have to attract state and federal money. And as part of that process, one of the projects that we noted had a lot of potential was the Streetcar. And we knew that the city and HART were looking at the modernization and extension of the Streetcar. But we also knew that it was an underutilized asset, but we felt it had a lot of potential. So just about 2 years ago, we stood right here and announced a service development grant from Fdot to allow for the system to look to expand and reach its capacity. By doing so, we extended the hours of operation. We then were also decreasing the headway between the vehicles and making sure that people could see it as more than maybe a tourist opportunity, but also to see it as a real commuting option and a way to get around outside of your vehicle. And the results prior to the pandemic were just awesome. We saw more than triple the ridership. You would see many a day that the streetcar would be full. And that showed that this is a viable transit project. And also, as we know, the densification of the land use downtown is going to mean there's just going to be more demand for people to get around, and other mobility options are going to be looked for. So today we are very excited to announce the award of $67.3 million of state New Starts Transit Program funding to the Streetcar Extension and Modernization Project. This is the largest transit funding award the state has ever given to the Tampa Bay region. I want to congratulate HART and the city for their ongoing efforts to develop transit solutions for our community, and the department is proud to be a partner in these projects. As the department continues to look for ways to improve mobility for our region, we firmly believe transit is an integral part of the overall solution. Along with all the studies and projects we have funded to date, this award demonstrates our strong commitment to transit development in our region. And I'm hoping that this strong commitment from the state will also help solidify the city's position in its pursuit of federal funding for this project. And last, just congratulations again to all the parties involved, and I look forward to when we have the groundbreaking on this project.
Thank you, Secretary Gwynn, and for your ongoing support. I'd also like to acknowledge that we have 3 council members here today. We've got 4 council members. We've got Councilman Goods, Councilman Vieira, Councilman Citro, and we've got, there you are, Councilman Dingfelder. Our next speaker needs no introduction in this town, or this region for that matter. She's a force for transformation, and she has a plan to help us get there. Please welcome Mayor Jane Castor.
Thank you so much, Vic, and thank you very much, Director Gwynn, for providing that wonderful, wonderful grant funding to us. We are so excited. When David called me the other day and said, I think I have some good news, and told me about the funding, the additional funding for the streetcar, I was certain that Christmas had come early. So we thank you. We're so thankful for the partnership with Fdot, and also thankful to the governor, Ron DeSantis, for providing us with this funding. This really is, today is a great step in transforming Tampa's tomorrow. As many know, one of the elements of our focus, this administration's focus, is transportation. Getting people to where they need to be in the most efficient and effective manner. And one of those elements that we are focused on is mass transit, something that we're lacking here in the Tampa Bay area. Many of you heard me joke that our definition of mass transit is more than 2 people in an SUV. So we are looking for those solutions, and unfortunately those solutions don't come cheap. And so it's very important that we all work together on the local, state, and federal levels to ensure that we have the funding to put the transportation solutions in place. I also want to recognize again and thank the council members that are here for your partnership. I know that this transportation is a focus for each and every one of you, and you understand the significance that it plays in the future of Tampa. We are all still hopeful that we will be able to get a positive ruling from the Supreme Court on the All for Transportation funding, and that will bring additional funding into our area so that we can provide more transportation solutions, and then also ensure that our roads are much safer to travel. But today we're here to talk about our streetcar and what a wonderful, wonderful asset that is. We're going to hear from Michael English in just a moment, who heads the streetcar board, about the significance that this plays historically in the city of Tampa, but also as that form of transportation, and encouraging individuals to utilize it as a form of transportation on a day-to-day business. As Secretary Gwynn said, not just for tourists, but as a viable form of transportation. By 2040, we will have 100,000 people living within walking distance of this streetcar system. That says a lot. And so we will be able to have up and running in short order a system that will expand from this location here all the way down to Tampa Heights. We have future plans for expansion that will go northward out to USF, and then also east and west. East to the East Tampa residential area and commerce locations, but also westward out to West Shore and then out to the airport as well. So we have the transportation plans. We have the ability to get it done. Again, quite often it is the funding that is the Achilles heel. So we're very excited about being able to receive this additional funding from Fdot today. It makes a huge, huge difference in transforming Tampa's tomorrow. So thank you again, Secretary Gwynn, much appreciated. This also is such a great collaboration between HART, between Fdot, the streetcar board, and the entire state of Florida. So this is an exciting day, not only for the city of Tampa, but for the entire Tampa Bay area. So thank you all very, very much.
Thank you, Mayor Castor, and belated happy birthday. We're not going to accomplish this vision without our transit expert and agency in this region, HART. They have an incredible staff and a really good board and leadership. I now invite Director Melanie Williams on behalf of HART to say a few words.
Good evening, good afternoon rather. HART is thrilled to be the recipient of the New Starts funding program for the streetcar extension and modernization project. And let me say again, I am very, very excited because this is the largest funding for transportation ever granted to Tampa Bay in history. To be recognized. I want to first thank our partner, Secretary Gwynn, and Fdot for their great partnership and their continuous support on transportation in our region. Mayors, I also want to thank you as well as the City of Tampa for your great partnership and for personally spearheading this transformational project for the streetcar extension. Public transportation, it provides us with travel options as well as connecting our neighborhoods. As I grew up in Florida, in this area, Tampa Bay, I utilized HART. And the utilization of HART provided me personally with an understanding of what it takes in order to get where I need to be to better my life from the first mile to the last mile. And this grant provides that. It will provide similar awards to our riders so that they too can better their lives and get to where they need. And it will also further our HART mission to take people to places that enhance their lives. That's important. This will take people to where they need to be to enhance their lives. It is the reason I stand before you today on behalf of HART, not only as a patron, but as a board of director and in this community, because it provided me with an opportunity for a better life. And I know that this grant will also provide our riders with the opportunity to get what they need to go in the downtown area as well as in Tampa Heights. So with that, I say this is a great opportunity. I believe Secretary Gwen has said that, as well as Mayor Castor, and HART is grateful for this opportunity to be considered for the grant and award for the state, and look forward to even more from a federal standpoint. I again want to say thank you, and I know this will benefit Tampa Heights and our community as we continue to expand and we care for those 100,000 people that'll be here in 2040. Thank you again.
Thank you, Director Williams, and thank you, HART team. Finally, I'd like to invite the ultimate streetcar champion, right from when it was built, the chair of the Tampa Historic Streetcar Board, Michael English.
Wow, what a day. I think I need to begin by thanking Secretary Gwen, Mayor Castor, the HART Board of Directors, FDOT, city staff, and the HART operations staff for the streetcar. What Secretary Gwen has done is impressive, to say the least. He's been a champion of the streetcar since he came here. Mayor Castor has been a champion since she came here. But I want to offer a little context, if I might. Tampa had a wonderful streetcar system that was taken away from us after the World War II in 1945. And the effort to return the streetcar to Tampa really began in 1984 with the Tampa and Ybor City Street Railway Society, led by pioneers such as Joan Genowine, Harris Mullen, Tom Riddell, Jan Smith. In 2002, we opened the streetcar system thanks to Dick Greco and Sharon Dent, who was running Heartline at the time, and it was a very exciting time. Several years ago, we managed to extend it up to here from down there, or up to there from down here. I'm not quite sure. And today, we are looking at turning the streetcar into a completely valid mass transit system. Mayor Castor has wonderfully taken the vision of extending the streetcar and turning it into a true mass transit system for the city of Tampa. And I don't know how to thank all of these people for what they've done. I've been involved in all of this much longer than I would like to admit, but it happened as an accident, and I've enjoyed it, every minute of it, and I'm just extremely proud and happy to be here today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. English. So while we have the historic streetcar behind us here, we have a few renderings of what a modern streetcar might look like. And in essence, these will be very accessible vehicles with flush boarding for persons of all abilities. The goal is to run high frequency connectivity, not only within the streetcar network, but also connect to other elements, including bicycle and pedestrian trails, or bus service, or other modes of transportation, both public and private. that's the journey that we're on, and thank you all for being here this afternoon. At this point, we'll be happy to take any questions.
You guys have any questions?
Do you have an update on where the federal grant process is?
Sure. The question was, where do we stand vis-a-vis the federal process? So we're working with the Federal Transit Administration to get in line, if you will, for federal funding. We will know in February when the current administration presents their budgetary docket of whether we qualify this year or not. But this is an ongoing process. It's not one and done. And it certainly helps that Fdot stepped up in such a big way with their state match, even before we have other elements in place. And that can only be positive.
Is there an expected completion date of this project?
The question is, what's the completion date of this project, expected completion date? So, as things stand, we expect the project to be fully complete by the end of 2026, but that will depend on a lot of other factors. There are a lot of moving parts to that.
No more questions?
All right, well, thank you all. Appreciate y'all coming down.